Yay! Unit 3, Lesson 3-1. With this whole chapter, we are dealing with inequalities. Inequalities, as you may recall, are just those mathematical sentences that use a greater than or a less than sign. So this time we're working with them. This is going to be a zippy quick lesson. We're not going to take too much time with it because I think this is review. If you are trying to translate this English, what inequality represents the verbal expression all numbers x less than or equal to -7, how would you do it? Well, x less than or equal to -7. There's your inequality. That's all they're looking for with problem 1. Letter B is a similar idea. 6 less than a number k is greater than 13. I feel like I should go back into that silly voice I was using earlier because, anyway, k minus 6 is greater than 13. There's your inequality. That's all. On the top of page 165 is got it number 1. Because I think this is review and I think it's very straightforward, I want you to do number 1 on your own. I will wait, and then you will check your answers with me. So yes, as I'm sure you were hoping, no vocabulary for this lesson. Number 1A goes back to, crazy voice again. All real numbers p greater than or equal to 1.5. Your answer needs to look like this. All numbers p greater than or equal to 1.5. That's it. Very easy. And letter B is right here. The sum of t and 7 is less than -3. That is all. Move on to problem 2. So the first step was figure out how to write an inequality. The second step is figure out how to solve these inequalities. They're asking you, is this number, -3, and this number, I should say, are these numbers, -3 and -1, are they solutions to this inequality? All you do is substitute the number they give you into the inequality and see if it works. -5 is not greater than -3. -3 does not work. On this side, -1 is greater than -3. So -1 is a solution. Give it a try. Got it. Number 2. They give you 4 different numbers that they want you to test in this inequality. I should see this inequality written out 4 times, and I should see your work with all those numbers in it. It won't take you long. I'm not even going to get my Rubik's Cube. So here's what I have written in my book. Here's the inequality. Here are the 4 numbers that they want me to try. Starting with the first one. If y is equal to -1, substitute in, and that doesn't work. Well, let's try the next one. How about 0? Does 0 work? No. Okay. Did they give us all losers, or are some of these going to work? Put in +1. 13 minus 7 is less than or equal to 6. So that works. And let's try 3. 13 minus 21 is less than or equal to 6. So that is also a solution. 2 solutions, 2 not solutions. With letter B, they ask you to return to this inequality and think about what would happen if instead of the greater than symbol, it were an equation with an equal sign. What would the solution to this be? Well, this is pretty easy for you by now. The solution to this equation is -2. We know that -1 is a solution to the inequality. What they want you to realize is that when you have inequalities like this, there are many possible solutions, and you can start to represent that on a number line. So looking at this, they're transitioning into this chart on the bottom of page 165. This graph here shows n is less than 1. Do you see how they put an open circle on 1 to show that 1 is not included, but everything less than 1 is included? Take a look at this graph. They've used a filled in circle at 0, and the arrow is going to the right, because in this case, all of our solutions are greater than or equal to 0. filled in circle shows that we are including 0. The open circle on this one shows that 1 is not included. This one, f is greater than negative 3. Open circle, because negative 3 is not part of this party. Everything bigger than that is part of our solution. Last but not least, negative 2 greater than or equal to x. Negative 2 is included, so it's filled in circle. Everything this way. Now, if that confuses you a little bit, you can flip it over just like they show you here. X is less than or equal to negative 2, and that might make it more clear why the arrow is going to the left instead of to the right. Your turn to do some graphing. Got it? Number 3. I'm looking on page 166. If this completely confuses you, take a look at this explanation up above that I skipped over. I'm going to wait while you stop the video, and after you've had a chance to graph it, turn it back on. We'll compare graphs. So you have to figure out some neat and tidy way to mark these graphs. Letter A, x greater than negative 4. Here's negative 4, and I used an open circle because it's not equal to negative 4. And then you can see I kind of squiggled my line to show which way my arrow is going. You could use a colored pencil here. You, in some way, make it very clear which way your line is going. Letter B should look like this. If C is less than 0, open circle at 0, arrow going that way. And letter C, be careful, 3 is less than or equal to n is the same thing as n is greater than or equal to 3. So your graph should look like this. A closed circle at 3, because 3 is included, and the arrow moves off to the right. Problem 4 has you do the reverse operation. They give you the graph, they want you to write the inequality. Look this over, and once you're ready to figure out some inequalities, got it, number 4, A and B, you know where I'll be after you get those inequalities written. Oh, good. Okay, so your first graph looks like this, up here in the book. Open circle, moving to the left. So we have negative 3 is greater than x, or x is less than negative 3. Either one would be correct. And for letter B, our graph includes the number 0 and moves off to the right. So our inequality is going to be 0 is less than or equal to x. You can see there I actually wrote the wrong thing and kind of crossed it out. 0 is less than or equal to x, or x is greater than or equal to 0 is also correct. So they are trying to make these something that you would use in your real life in problem 5. For example, if trail rides start at $19.99, then you could write an inequality that says cost of the trail ride is greater than or equal to $19.99. Then, given that S is a legal speed limit, the sign indicates that S is less than or equal to 8. And problem 5 I thought was kind of funny. Can the speed be all real numbers less than or equal to 8? You stop and think about that for a second. And if you haven't come up with an answer that you like yet, think about this. Ask, the next time you're in a car, ask if you can drive at negative 3 miles an hour. And now think a little bit more. And now you realize that, no, it can't be all numbers. It has to be between 0 and 8. Last but not least, there is a helpful chart on page 167. It's showing you what some different inequalities will look like in case you get confused. Where's the open circle? Where's the closed circle? Which goes what way? And the only other thing for you to do is just the lesson check on page 167, and we are done.